Hi everybody, here's a quick overview of the wizard manager that I've created to automate user interfaces, make it a little bit easier. Still early days in the project, but things are more or less working. So let's have a look here at the references. First you add the 3 DLLs in the package as a reference. I put them in a shared folder that I created, and there I just reference them. Next you also need the high-level user interface if you don't have it already in your project, and you need the system XML. So the first step then is to set up these new DLLs. Most of that stuff you can actually read in the manual, so I'm going to skip that so you can read that. But you're going to have a quick look at what it looks like in the init. You need the UI system initialize. That's a standard function of the high-level UI. You need to give that your graphics context. Next you need to set a scene. Create one first. Next we are looking at the new components that I created. So here you create a wizard manager, and that uses a settings file that defines the pages and steps. That can look like this. You here see some XML for each page. You first have some basic page settings like the label for the page, if it's visible or not, so that you can quickly switch. Next you have elements on the page, and those are the actual controls. So for instance here we have a slider, we use it for camera X. We have another slider for the clear color red, same for green, same for blue. We have some default values for them. Actually, I want that one to be that. So that's the value that they start with. And then next we have the styles, and currently these are based on type of controls, high level. This is still in progress, so you'll get more detailed style management later on, but this is the basic stuff. So the style has the background color, red, green, blue and alpha. Same for foreground. You get the basic alpha setting of the control. You get the horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, data type. It's currently not yet used. You get the name. That's an important one, that's the identifier. And this is the default style, so everything will have this unless you specify a more detailed style. Then the margin there for instance, if you have a label, then the top will be 0, slightly indented from the left, slightly indented from the right, or not in this case. And a font definition, so you can specify a font size, a style, which is bold, italic or regular, and you can provide a URL to your specific style. If you don't provide any, it will use a system font, but you can provide anything that you find. There are lots of free ones on the web. It's just one that I temporarily copied from Windows. So you can set styles for various things. Okay. So in this case I took the basic model sample that's in the library, and that just shows an animated model. So I set up the components. I used the pages and styles source that I've just shown you. Now I create a user interface control, a wizard panel in this case, which I'm using because it's quick. That automatically gives you a title and a next and a previous button. I maximize it not quite. I use half the screen and I center it to the I dock it to the right by using this, setting it to half the width and starting at half the width. Then I add it to the scene. I set on that control, I set the style manager that controls the styles on that control, the wizard manager that controls the wizard on that control, and those are the ones that we just created here with these settings. Next I set some value changed handlers, or some handlers, one for value changed and one for page changed. Mostly you'll just need that one. And now I say, okay, you can show the first page, and at that point it will initialize and draw whatever first page it finds. So in this case that will be this single page here. Finally you set the UI system to that scene that you created and that you added the wizard panel to, and then you're almost there. In your update loop, which I added because this one didn't have an update loop, you get, for instance, some gamepad data, and then if I look at the R button being pressed, I call the wizard manager and say, okay, you can show the next page. And the same here for the L button, you can show the previous page. In this case we only have one page, so you won't notice it, but if you create multiple pages, then that's one way you can browse through. Of course you can customize that however you want. Same for the touch. We need to provide the UI system with the touch information, so we get the touch. You can see plenty of touch examples, but this is just get the touch and pass it to the UI. Now finally, in the draw routine you need to add one important little thing, and that's the UI system render. And that actually takes care of drawing the user interface bits that we asked for. And we do that just before we tell the graphic system to swap buffers. That's a good moment to do it, although it doesn't matter that much, I think. So yeah, we want it to be overlaid on the rest. Alright. I think that's the basics, so now we can run it first in the simulator. Here we are. You see the model, you see the settings here. You'll note that when I'm going to move these, it doesn't move very smoothly. That's because there's a bug, because this currently uses a scroll panel. And there's still a little bug with that one, so if you use something that uses touch to scroll inside the scroll panel, which also accepts touch for scrolling, then you sometimes get some issues. If you move in a straight line, it will stop every time after a while, but you will see some change eventually as I'm moving up the red value. There we go. I'm moving down the blue. And as that happens, you can see that currently I write to the console what changes you get. There's a lot of debugging information coming to the console. I will eventually make that optional, but right now not yet. So now we change the colors. Same we can do with the camera. I've inversed them slightly, but you can see the model moving to the center in that direction. So that's it. Now, for instance, if I want to change so that you can type the, sorry about that, you can type the value, so I can make this slider, change it into a text. That's all I need to do. And you'll see it has a text box. I can click on that, type a new value here, and let's make that 0.1. And there we see the model has moved from 0, almost off the screen. So that's to give you an impression on how easy it is to manage these things. Alright, that's it for now. I'll show more soon. And, to those who are interested, they can get the DLLs to mess around with it. And I have a little document ready that details all the steps you need. So you can read that. There you go. Alright. Sorry for the messy chat, but I haven't done one of these ever, so we'll probably be better next time. Bye bye.